Yo, 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 what it do? And welcome back to The Way I See It with Jamario Ra'Shad. Charlotte fam, Charlotte Nation, we got a lot of news, and I ain't even gonna talk about it all. I'm gonna keep the perspective positive. I'm gonna keep looking forward, and we not gonna talk about those who did not show up. And we're gonna get into this video right after this, so stick with me.
I'm from the you dig?
Alright, so for starters, we thought we had a coach, but then we didn't. Kenny Atkinson. And that's all I'm going to say on that. So now, moving forward, if you're following the tea leaves, following all of the Twitter news, following all of the rumor mills or whatever, you would know that the second person that the Charlotte Hornets have been interviewing that made it through the interviewing process but just didn't get a chance to meet the big man MJ himself was Mike D'Antoni, a coach that I mostly preferred over Kenny Atkinson from the beginning of the process. I wasn't the biggest fan of Atkinson, although I had made mention of him in some of my previous videos. If I had to choose between the two, Mike D'Antoni has been much more successful. He has over 20 plus years in the game, and he just is he's proven and earned more stripes. So I was much more comfortable giving over the keys to Mike D'Antoni. Now, with that being said, this video is made with the speculation that Mike D'Antoni will be hired to be the next coach of the Charlotte Hornets. And the intention of this video is to talk about three current players that we have on the roster, and I'm going to compare them to three former players that used to play under Mike D'Antoni, and how I feel as though their games are comparable and what Mike D'Antoni could help these current players do to reach the levels of these former players. And trust me, they're amazing. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And the first player that I'm pretty sure everybody knows is the Beard himself, James Harden. He's the most recent superstar that has earned his stripes under Mike D'Antoni, and we're going to compare him to our current superstar and All-Star this year, that is LaMelo Ball. Now, in the 4 years that James Harden played under Mike D'Antoni, he was in the MVP conversation every single year. He only won one time, but let's be honest, the one that Russell Westbrook won, if he didn't average that triple-double on a team that was going nowhere in the playoffs, and we didn't all give in to that narrative in that story, James Harden was so far clearly the MVP, and he should have more than one. Now, all of that conversation started again once Mike D'Antoni got to Houston in 2016. Now, when he got there was never a time that James Harden averaged under 29 points and at least 7 assists. And this is coming from the combo hybrid point guard spot that he was transitioning into. But keep in mind, at this point, James Harden was strictly buckets. Word to Uncle Drew. Now, in 4 years under Mike D'Antoni, the Houston Rockets would have three, count them up, that is 75% of the time, they had won more than 50 games. Now, that's something that the Charlotte Hornets, I honestly cannot say in my time of watching the team that we've ever done. And don't quote me on that because I could be wrong, but I honestly cannot remember the Charlotte Hornets winning 50 games. I would give a lot to win 50 games because that's almost a guaranteed slot in the playoffs, especially in the East. Now, in that short 4 years, we talk a lot about the flameouts that James Harden had, but that is at no fault of Mike D'Antoni. They did make it to the Western Conference Finals, and they were possibly one Chris Paul injury away from making it to the NBA Finals. So I believe that Mike D'Antoni can step in, implement that early offense, that pace and space, get as many threes up as possible. You know, the analytics game that we play today. And as of right now, LaMelo Ball averaged, he was one of the three players on the team that averaged 20 points. I believe under Mike D'Antoni in just 1 year, I believe the first year of development in the Mike D'Antoni system, I believe we could see those points per game jump up to at least 26 to 28 points per game. And then moving forward, he's as naturally gifted as he is of a passer, as well as the nose that he has for rebounds. I believe that under Mike D'Antoni, LaMelo Ball is a triple-double waiting to happen, and I can see 28, 9. I can see 28, 9, and 8 easily in the first year under Mike D'Antoni, solidifying LaMelo as a solidified all-star moving forward, not just fringe, not just voted in because of the people, not just a Adam Silver suggestion, but a possible starter, most likely a starter if he can get those numbers, and just a force to be reckoned with down here in Charlotte moving forward. Now, moving on from LaMelo, we're going to talk about LaMelo's boy and my guy, Miles Bridges, Mr. Rap himself. You already know this is Mr. I got bars and I dunk too. But the player comparison I would most like to make for Miles Bridges, as far as a player that earned his stripes under Mike D'Antoni, I would love to see Miles Bridges transform his game into a Sean Marion Matrix type game. Now, for some of those younger viewers that may not know who the Matrix is, he was an amazing player for over a decade in the league, playing for both the Phoenix Suns and eventually winning a ring with Dirk Nowitzki and the Dallas Mavericks in 2011. Sean Marion was known mostly for his crazy-looking jumper that looked like something a 3-year-old would do on a breakaway goal, but that joint would drop. So it is what it is, but what I see in Sean Marion, or what I saw in Sean Marion that I would love to get out of Miles Bridges, is that tenacity on the defensive side of the ball and that will and want to exude that athleticism on the defensive side of the ball. Sean Marion, as you could see under Mike D'Antoni, he averaged almost a double-double with points and rebounds every year in Phoenix. But what I want to point out as far as what stood out to me and what pops out the most about these stats, and it was very noticeable if you watched him play, under Mike D'Antoni, he averaged at least 2 steals and 1 block while averaging that 20 and 10. So in this offense, he was able to guard the other team's best player, whether that be a wing or a big man, and he was also able to get buckets night in and night out. And under the 6 years that he played under Mike D'Antoni, he actually made 4 All-Star games, which after he left and went to Dallas, he unfortunately was never voted to again. But while in the D'Antoni system, he thrived, and he just showed what all that athleticism and skill can do for you on the defensive side of the ball with a similar build as Miles Bridges, that 6'7" to 6'9" range, lengthy with athleticism. Sean Marion showed what the full package can be. And I know we all want Miles Bridges to be a superstar, but, if we're just going to be realistic about it, if he can't reach those peaks, which, God forbid, knock on wood, I hope that happens, becoming a Sean Marion type player alongside LaMelo Ball in a Mike D'Antoni system could be deadly moving forward. And I would definitely love to see it. Now, moving forward for our third and final player, I got some Bouknight news for all of my Bouknight fans out there. Let Book cook, hashtag. But the player comparison I see James Bouknight having, if under the stewardship of Mike D'Antoni, is I could see him being on a similar career trajectory as Joe Johnson. A lot of people know Joe Johnson for his time with the Atlanta Hawks and all of his clutch shooting that he displayed in his time there. But before he went to the Atlanta Hawks, he did spend some time in his first 3 or 4 years with the Phoenix Suns under Mike D'Antoni. And if you take a look at that points category as in the third column on his stat sheet right there, from I believe that was year 2 to year 3 under Mike D'Antoni, he actually made almost doubled his point production while increasing all of his other stats as well. When I look and I compare their games, I believe they both have a very, very smooth game. Joe Johnson has always had a very slow and steady wins the race Nowhere near the level of Luka Doncic, but when I look at the pace of their games, I look at it as very similar, just very slow and methodical. Now, James Bouknight, he still has some youth in his legs. He has a lot of athleticism, and he does have some pop and burst when it comes to driving to the basket. Now, in the games that I watched closely where he was most effective and he scored his most points, it was not in the paint, it was not driving, it was getting open, whether it be creating an open shot off the dribble or mostly getting an open three and just knocking it down. Now in the Mike D'Antoni system, those shots would come a lot more easy and a lot more frequent, and he would get plenty of opportunities that he did not get under James Borrego to get his shots up and actually get those averages up and get noticed and potentially be in the Rising Stars game next year and not just be completely overlooked. So James Bouknight can definitely develop similar to how young Joe Johnson did in the Mike D'Antoni system with the pace and space 3-pointers and all the attempts that he's sure to get and his definite jump in minutes this year. Now, with that being said, man, that's all I got for y'all today. Like I said, I'm not gonna talk about who's not here. I'm only gonna focus on who is or who could potentially be here because this kind of still is a what if video. But man, what do y'all think about it? Who do you all think that Mike D'Antoni could come in and have the best impact on? Whether it be one of these three players, another one of the other players on the team that I failed to mention. Did you think this list was horrible? If you think I'm stupid, do you think I'm a genius? Anything, man. Just give me some type of engagement. If you made it this far in the video, I truly appreciate you giving me this much of your time. Go ahead and leave me a like on the way out as well as a comment. And I have been Jamario Ra'Shad, and I really and truly appreciate y'all for taking the time out and watching this video. So until next time, peace.